So one of Donald Trump's men is about to plead the fifth. Let's talk about that. Because justice matters. Hey all, Glenn Kirshner here. So one of Donald Trump's men, one of his high Department of Justice officials, one of his co-conspirators, Jeffrey Clark, is about to plead the fifth. He's about to invoke his Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination when he is called again to testify before the House Select Committee investigating the January 6th attack on the Capitol. Here is the latest reporting on that from MSNBC. Team Trump's Jeffrey Clark poised to plead the fifth in January 6 probe. And that article begins, as recently as 2016, Donald Trump derided those who asserted their Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination, saying, quote, "The mob takes the fifth," Trump said, overlooking his own history with the legal right. Quote, "If you're innocent, why are you taking the fifth?" Close quote. That quote came to mind again yesterday as a lawyer Trump turned to for anti-election support prepares to plead the fifth. NBC News reported, the House committee investigating the January 6 riot at the Capitol voted unanimously Wednesday night to advance a measure to refer former Trump Justice Department official Jeffrey Clark to his previous employer, the Department of Justice, for criminal contempt of Congress, but is also giving him one last chance to testify. Committee Chair Benny Thompson said Wednesday evening that Clark's attorney notified him on Tuesday night that his client, quote, now intends to claim Fifth Amendment protection, close quote, against self-incrimination. So let's be clear, folks. This isn't Steve Bannon intending to plead the fifth. This isn't Roger Stone. This is a former high Department of Justice official, a Trump official who is preparing to plead the fifth. So let's talk about some of the consequences of that. First of all, it's being reported that the House Select Committee has already conducted more than 250 investigations. That is no small feat. And as we know, all of those interviews, all of that testimony has gone on behind closed doors. It will become public at some point. We will start to see some public testimony, but we haven't seen it yet. Well, now with Jeffrey Clark being called back in on Saturday to testify and perhaps plead the fifth, I sure wish the House Select Committee would make an exception and televise it. Why do I say that? Well, because the way it works is questions get asked, and if the answer to the question would incriminate the witness, then the witness pleads the fifth. But if the answer doesn't incriminate the witness is supposed to answer, is required to answer. So I want to see what Jeffrey Clark does when he is asked questions by the House Select Committee, like, what did Donald Trump tell you to do regarding the election results in Georgia, for example? I predict the answer from Jeffrey Clark would be, on the advice of counsel, I'm invoking my Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination and declining to answer that question. Yeah, I'd like to see that. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. What are some of the other consequences? Well, now that a former Department of Justice official is virtually announcing that he's committed crimes, because only if your truthful testimony would incriminate you are you allowed to plead the fifth, he's committed crimes. So the Department of Justice must conduct a full, fair, robust criminal investigation of Jeffrey Clark, frankly, everybody else up and down the criminal food chain who participated in the attempted overthrow of our government. DOJ must conduct an investigation of one of its own. I mean, think about it. If the Department of Justice officials said, yeah, we know Jeffrey Clark was a high DOJ official, but we're not going to criminally investigate him. Come on. That would be cronyism at best, and it would be deeply disturbing and democracy-busting corruption at worst. So DOJ must investigate this new information, crimes having been committed by DOJ official Jeffrey Clark. And then finally, the fact that DOJ would be in a position to investigate one of its own, because a criminal investigation of Jeffrey Clark would involve interviews and grand jury testimony of dozens, potentially, of DOJ employees, officials, associates of Jeff Clark. And, you know, we generally don't let an organization investigate itself criminally. Harkens back to the Bill Barr days, where Bill Barr would look into his own wrongdoing and cleared himself of all misconduct. So what does that mean? Well, that suggests that we may now be in a place where we need a special counsel, somebody who is at least somewhat independent of the Department of Justice. It's a bit of a fiction. There's not complete independence of a special counsel, and we no longer have the independent counsel statute available to us. But this feels like it moves us even further in the direction of the need for a special counsel to investigate the crimes of former high DOJ official Jeffrey Clark. And let me finish with this, friends. The Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination is much mocked and derided, and people make fun of it, and only criminals assert their Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination. As Donald Trump said, only mobsters do it. But it's an important constitutional right. As I teach my criminal justice students at GW, you know, the Fifth Amendment privilege against self-incrimination erects a wall between the government and the citizenry. Because without a Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination, law enforcement could beat a confession out of a suspect. You know, you have a right not to be compelled to incriminate yourself. And frankly, after yesterday's Supreme Court argument on whether the Supreme Court will not just overturn Roe v. Wade, but will claw back important constitutional rights of women, I think we need to hold fast and fight for every constitutional right we presently enjoy, because it looks like we have an arguably illegitimate Supreme Court about to begin taking back some of the rights that we've enjoyed. So yes, we can make light of the Fifth Amendment. We can say only mobsters use it, but it's an important constitutional right. And if Jeffrey Clark committed crimes against the United States, he shouldn't be forced or compelled to incriminate himself. But he should be prosecuted, because justice matters. Friends, as always, please stay safe, please stay tuned, and I look forward to talking with you all again tomorrow.